Hey, welcome to Pretty Well. Do you want to get to the root causes of your health concerns? Do you find yourself Googling, why do I feel this way? And looking for solutions to feel great again? I'm Lisa Smith, and I too felt exhausted, achy, and like I was aging too quickly. I wanted to look and feel like myself again, and spent way too much time and money going to practitioners, even functional medicine practitioners, and not getting results. So I became a functional medicine practitioner myself and learned how to identify and fix root causes to health issues. The good news is there is so much you can do to reclaim your wellness. In this podcast, you'll find quick, simple, and evidence-based guidance that you can easily fit into your day so your energy will be soaring, your mind clear, and your skin will return to its beautiful glow. Let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to the Pretty Well podcast. I'm Lisa Smith, and I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to talk to you about this topic. We have talked recently about the role of hyaluronic acid in skin health and anti-aging, joint health, eye health, and other things. If you haven't heard that episode, go back and listen. I'll put the link in the show notes. It was a good one. And today we're going to continue the conversation on skin health. But today we're going to be talking about another compound that's really important to know about. In fact, I recently ordered a serum with this ingredient in it. Before I talked to you, I wanted to see how helpful it was. And I like it. I really like it. But I like it in combination with other things, not as a standalone by itself. It's not going to completely transform your skin by itself, but it's an important player. If you use a couple things, it's an important piece to mix in or use in a product that has a combination of actives in it. So many anti-aging skincare products have wild promises and claims. You know, those that claim the fountain of youth, and then they show before and after pictures and all those social media things we see. Has anyone fallen for any of those? I have. I definitely have. Some of the products I actually liked, and some were just bogus. Anyhow, today I'm going to talk about something that actually does have research behind it, and it actually is beneficial for our anti-aging efforts. And it has to do with the mitochondria within our skin. So let's take a step back. Mitochondria, go back, way back to biology in whatever, high school, junior high. And they were always called the powerhouses of the cells. We're going to talk a little more about this, but no science lesson, I promise. But they're the little organelles within our cells that take nutrients from our food, and they go through this process like an assembly line, and they make energy, ATP. That's our energy. Our skin has very specific mitochondria, and we're going to talk today about their surprising role in how our skin ages and even how we get skin diseases. We're going to find out what's really going on under the surface at a cellular level. And then we're going to talk about what our skin needs as it's constantly renewing itself, shedding old cells, creating new cells, and all the energy that uses, and how to support our mitochondria so that it does that more effectively. As we age, our mitochondria tend to become less effective and produce less energy. We're going to talk about how to support those mitochondria so that we can see the benefits on our skin from an anti-aging. The name powerhouses of the cells for the mitochondria is a little misleading. It definitely is like a power plant. They use an assembly line to make more energy for our body, but they do so much more than that. Mitochondria are responsible for cellular signaling. There's something called the cell danger response. When our body is under a threat, some sort of stress, it could be physical stress, emotional stress, any combination of things that our body perceives as threatening, it will switch out of this active energy production role. And of course, it's still producing energy for our survival, but it's starting to scale back. It has the cellular signaling that says, oh, we're in danger. I need to scale back my energy production. And then I need to boost up either my immunity or some sort of defenses to keep me safe. So the mitochondria are involved in that cellular signaling conversation. And they're also even involved in something called programmed cell death. Now, that might sound awful. Why would that be a good thing? But it's really an important thing for our entire body, but also for maintaining healthy skin. Programmed cell death is how our body cleans up debris, damaged cells, unwanted cells, cells that might be prone to proliferating, which would be a root cause of cancer. The body goes in and says, no, we need to clean this junk out of here and get rid of it and eliminate it so that we can keep producing new cells, fresh cells, and keep us healthy. So as you think about this role of the mitochondria in programmed cell death, think of it like the quality control system in your body, but today we're specifically talking about our skin. It's as if your skin cells have a self-destruct button. When they say, okay, this is problematic, got to get rid of it, the mitochondria are the ones that push that self-destruct button on specific cells that need to go. But here's where it gets a little tricky. Mitochondria are responsible for producing the energy that keeps our skin healthy, but in producing the energy, they produce byproducts called reactive oxygen species, ROS for short, also known as free radicals. Those are waste products, but they're not just waste products that hang out. So think about it, if you had a power plant that is producing all this energy, that's essentially what mitochondria are. And the power plant has smokestacks that have exhaust coming out of them. That exhaust is a form of pollution in our air, but it's necessary to produce the energy that we need to live. That's the same thing in your body. The mitochondria produce the energy, just like the power plant, and their exhaust, if you will, are the free radicals, the ROS. Well, the ROS, the exhaust, is damaging. It's pollution. It's not just a neutral byproduct. It's actually damaging, harmful in our body. But the body has a way of managing them properly, and that is through antioxidants. So as we think about other influences that need to be managed properly for our skin health, a great example is UV damage from sun exposure. That damage directly damages the mitochondria, the power plants in our skin. So it damages the DNA. To take our analogy of the power plant a little further, if there's a command center within the power plant, that would be the DNA. So if something damages the command center within the power plant, then it messes up the whole power plant, and the power plant can't make the energy. That's kind of like what sun damage does to our skin. It goes in and damages the mitochondrial DNA, which leads to less efficient energy production and an increase in the exhaust, the ROS, or the free radicals. When we think about sun exposure, that's where sunscreen becomes important. Now, to get vitamin D, the research is clear that you want to be in the sun for the first 15 minutes or so, give or take 5 minutes, and that will give you ample vitamin D synthesis. So that sun on your skin allows your body to start the processes to make its own vitamin D. It's very fascinating, better than any vitamin D you can buy on the market. During the winter, we don't get enough sun, so it becomes very important to supplement with vitamin D. But in the summer, if you get sun for 15 or 20 minutes, now you're making your own vitamin D. Now, if you're really fair, if you're a redhead who's really fair, or just anyone who's really fair, you're going to change that a little bit. If you go out in the sun for 5 minutes and you start to get pink, you're going to want to adjust that recommendation based on your own body and what you know you need. When it comes to sunscreens, you want sunscreens that use a mineral block like zinc oxide. You don't want chemical blocks because those are toxic. A great resource to find a healthy sunscreen, go to ewg.com. You want to go to the Skin Deep database that you can research all the sunscreens on the market and find a healthy alternative. So just make sure you're not using a lot of the main ones. You know, the mainstream brands that you see in every store, every box store, every grocery store, all the discount stores, those have all those chemical sunscreens that are really toxic and do more damage to your skin's mitochondria potentially more than UV. Let's go back to the mitochondrial DNA. Regardless of sun damage or other things that we put on our skin that cause mitochondrial damage, over time, as we age, I'm sorry to say, the mitochondria just don't work as well. What does? What works as well in our 40s, 50s, and beyond than it did in our 20s? So even with diligent sun protection and doing all the right things, our mitochondria over time still begin to accumulate damage, and they slow down as part of the natural aging. And what we find is this leads to more crepiness and more age spots. It leads to more dryness, loss of elasticity, less collagen production. And that's when we go in major search of the skin cream or the anti-aging solution or the body lotion to help slow this process down. And that's when we start dropping cash left and right, trying this and that, and we end up with a cupboard full, totally guilty, of different products that we're trying to see if they'll help to slow this process down. And what I've come across is there is an ingredient that is really important for skin health, especially as we're aging. And it's one we know that's important to take internally as a supplement if you're on a statin. It's a non-negotiable. If you're on, I'm going to take a little sidebar here. If you're on a statin, taking coenzyme Q10 as a supplement is necessary. Of course, talk to your doctor. Get the right dosage, get the right form. There are 2 different forms, but it's important because statins significantly wipe out our CoQ10 production. So it's important to boost that back up for all kinds of processes in the body. One of the most important being our cognitive health. So to prevent cognitive decline, really important if you're on a statin to make sure you talk to your doctor about starting coenzyme Q10. Okay, now we're going from there back. I'm coming off of my sidebar and we're coming back to the topical use of CoQ10. It's just not talked about that much, but it's a great component in an anti-aging formula for addressing mitochondrial function, and the science backs it. So you may be asking, as I was before I did research for this, how can CoQ10 actually get into the DNA of our mitochondria in our skin just from cream? Like, is the molecule too big? Does it actually work? Or is it a bunch of hype? Well, it's been found that topical CoQ10 really can absorb and reach the mitochondria in your skin. So how does it work its magic? Once it's inside the mitochondria in your skin, it goes through that little assembly line I mentioned earlier. It's called the electron transport chain. Just think of it as an assembly line where one thing leads to the next, and then energy is made. CoQ10 plays a key role in that assembly line to get the electrons to move from one stage to the next, till it produces that ATP, which is the energy produced by our mitochondria. So it's a key player. Think of it as a key piece of the machinery that keeps the assembly line moving. But it doesn't stop there. That's not the only thing it does. It also acts as an antioxidant. An antioxidant fights that exhaust, those ROS or free radicals that the power plant's making that can also be damaging. CoQ10 goes in, basically neutralizes the exhaust. So you get a 2-for-1 deal with topical CoQ10. It's a combination of part of the machinery to get the fuel made and also part of the cleanup crew, all in one application. That sounds like a pretty tall order for just one ingredient in a skin cream. And the good news is that several studies have shown that CoQ10 can lead to visible improvements in skin appearance, from reducing wrinkles to improving elasticity and even protecting against sun damage. So it's not just about the anti-aging and the appearance, it's also about improving skin health. And this is cool too. Melatonin, you know, the stuff that you might take to help you sleep, that helps regulate the sleep cycle, also plays a really important role in skin health. And it turns out that melatonin is actually produced within your skin itself. It also, like the CoQ10, acts as a powerful antioxidant, which protects the cells from those ROS. What's really cool is that melatonin seems to have a particular affinity for mitochondria, especially when it comes to protecting them from UV sun damage. So it acts like a shield for the mitochondria that helps them to keep functioning properly even when you're getting extra sun. It also helps the skin to repair and regenerate. Now, what happens when this whole cycle is disrupted? We see that the mitochondrial function begins to not work as it's supposed to. So it goes beyond wrinkles and dehydration on our skin and age spots. It can also contribute to skin diseases and other problems that begin to show up on our skin. So it goes beyond the cosmetic and begins to affect the overall health and function. And as the mitochondria become less efficient, they produce more of the ROS, more of that exhaust that we talked about earlier, which further damages cells and further contributes to aging and potentially disease. So that's a vicious cycle. So what can you do about it? In addition to making sure you're not getting sun damage, being responsible with sun exposure, we also want to look at lifestyle factors. We're talking about diet, sleep, and exercise. You might be thinking, here she comes. She's going to be talking about eating vegetables. Yes, you know me too well. Vegetables are our main source of antioxidants, which fight those ROS, those free radicals. So yes, a balanced diet with lots of vegetables gives us lots of antioxidants. Eating the rainbow helps to combat those harmful free radicals that are causing damage, not only to the appearance of your skin, but the actual mitochondrial DNA in your skin. And CoQ10 is a part of that, not just topically. You can take it in supplement form, but it's also found in certain foods like fatty fish, organ meats, whole grains. So making sure you're eating a healthy diet. I like to recommend a Mediterranean type diet. I am not anyone who would recommend a diet, but a Mediterranean type diet where you're getting healthy, clean sourced animal protein, whether it's fatty fish, any kind of fish, pasture raised organic poultry, pasture raised meat, those types of clean protein options, as well as lots of vegetables, a little bit of fruit, whole grains, and healthy fats. That is where you're going to find the most powerful way of addressing antioxidants, free radicals, and help your body to make its optimal amount of energy. So eating a healthy diet, getting regular activity and exercise not only improves circulation, which improves oxygen delivery to your skin, which helps it to be fresher, have more nutrients, and helps boost mitochondrial function. It also helps your skin look better. A brisk walk, a good workout, you get that rosy glow and look more bright and alive because the blood flow is going to all those skin cells. It helps to pull toxins out of your body, pulls them out of your skin, out of all your organs, your tissues, your cells. So getting regular exercise along with a healthy, balanced diet, along with great night's sleep and good hydration, all of those lifestyle factors will go miles beyond just addressing our skin from a topical standpoint. But before we get off the topical, let's revisit those topical creams for a minute. While they can be very helpful by themselves, they will never outrun an unhealthy diet, poor sleep, lack of activity, or poor hydration. They just can't. I often say you can't out-supplement a bad diet. It's just not a possible thing to do. That's why they're called supplements. And that's even topical. Think of your topical creams as a supplement to what you're doing. The basics are the lifestyle factors, then you add the supplements on. So a CoQ10 moisturizer is not going to be a magic bullet. It's the icing on the cake. And of course, it's not going to completely reverse the signs of aging or even our genetics. We can't turn back the clock completely, but we sure can work with the clock in a way that slows the aging process and works with our body. If you keep in mind these simple daily habits and the things we talked about today, over time, you can see a profound effect on your overall health, including your skin. Before today, you may have never thought about your skin's mitochondria. It's fascinating to think that these tiny organelles are working tirelessly around the clock to keep our skin healthy, to keep our bodies healthy, to keep our energy levels up. And it makes you realize the importance of doing all these little pieces that aren't hard, just a matter of getting our systems down to make sure we are eating a good, healthy diet, to make sure we are getting to sleep at a time each night that gives us enough sleep to allow our body to detox and regenerate so that we have enough energy the next day, and to put systems in place that we are getting activity every day to keep our blood moving and making sure we're getting the hydration. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from the skin being a major user of the energy produced, the ATP produced by the mitochondria in our skin. We've talked about the damage caused from UV radiation, as well as the science behind ingredients such as CoQ10 and melatonin, and how easy lifestyle hacks make the biggest difference in how your skin shows up every day. And we've only scratched the surface. There is so much more to learn about our mitochondria and the impact it has on our overall health, anti-aging, and longevity. I'd love to hear from you what else you'd like to learn about when it comes to either anti-aging, energy, gut health, hormonal health. Shoot me a line. Let me know what you like. Come and see us at lisasmithwellness.com and check out what we have for you on the website. If you loved this episode, remember to hit the subscribe button and share with your friends who also love this content. I love coming to you each week, and I continue on with all the amazing things you are doing to live your healthiest life. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, stay pretty well. Bye.